Quote, if in the past few years you haven't discarded a major opinion or acquired a new one, check your pulse. You may be dead. End quote. Gillette Burgess. Hi, I'm Danny Walters, and I think you are wrong. I think I'm wrong too. Everyone's wrong about something. We're just too stubborn to realize it. And I'm not talking about, like, if you want Frosted Flakes in the morning or Fruit Loops. I'm talking about personal opinions on major beliefs. How many of you have ever changed your party? Go ahead, raise your hand. Probably not too many of you. Anyway, not that it's a bad thing if you haven't. I mean, that seems to be more of a problem with the parties themselves. They're too black and white, or red and blue, I guess you could say. Either way, what I'm trying to say is that people don't change their minds often enough. Like I said, this isn't about trivial things, such as what to eat for breakfast. It's about major decisions. What tends to happen is people make up their minds about a subject and then surround themselves with agreement. We watch news shows that tell us exactly what we want to hear, that share news that spreads the beliefs and ideas that we have and ignore the rest. We create these bubbles to comfort us, to reassure us. But even when we are exposed to opposing ideas, we usually don't listen. You see, the University of Michigan conducted a study and found that when people are exposed to contradicting evidence, they actually hold more strongly to their beliefs. More strongly. People would rather be wrong than admit they are and change their minds. So why do we do this? What makes us so stubborn? What makes us so resistant to change? Is it maybe because these ideologies we have, these choices we make, are such a big part of our identity? That we feel vulnerable if we allow our identity to be so easily influenced? That we feel as though if we change these ideologies, we might lose a piece of who we are? Maybe it's because we're possessive of our beliefs, because they belong to us, or maybe we belong to them. It's almost as if we are allegiant to them, such as a sports team, where we have this attitude that it's us against them. We want to defeat people who oppose us, not join them. Maybe it's because of our ego. We hate being wrong. We feel stupid when we're wrong. We hate it so much that we convince ourselves that we're always right. Usually, the hardest part of changing your mind is admitting that you're wrong in the first place. John Maynard Keynes, a British politician and economist, was once accused of switching his policy when it came to monetary policies. And he responded by saying that, when the facts change, I change my mind. What do you do, sir? And he's right. The facts are changing every day. There was a time when everyone believed that the sun orbited the earth. There are new discoveries all the time. And we are constantly bombarded by the thoughts and opinions and ideas of people all around the world. When we have this great amount of information at our fingertips every day, we must adapt to it. The founder of Amazon says, consistency of thought isn't always positive. Adding to that people who are right a lot change their minds a lot. One of the most dangerous things a person can say is, but we've always done it that way. Well, why do we do it that way? Is there a better way? We should never settle for mediocrity because we're too lazy to think of something better. Tradition is a wonderful thing, but it can also be deadly to progress. I had a teacher once, and it was a couple years ago, and he said something that really stuck with me, that I've been thinking about ever since. He told me that he always tries to dislike the person he was a few years ago, to be embarrassed by that person, to look back and say, what the hell was I thinking? Because if he could do that, then he knew that he was always evolving as a person. He was always growing and changing, and he was always challenging himself. He also taught us that when approaching a new idea, we should step back and step away from our preconceived notions and our past experiences to view this new idea with no bias and from every angle. And I think this is something that all of us can do every once in a while with all of our beliefs. As Socrates put it quite bluntly, the unexamined life is not worth living. So step back and examine your life. Examine your choices and your positions. And even if you don't change your mind on them, just think about them. Think about what someone who opposes you might say. Try to understand them. Understand their motive. You may not change your mind, but at least you'll become more empathetic. So, open your mind. Look at where you get your news from and make sure it isn't biased. Next time you're arguing with someone, try and understand them. Understand where they're coming from. Finally, reevaluate your beliefs and why you believe that. If you haven't done anything like this in the past few years, please check your pulse. Thank you.